Attention, human collective. This transmission enters your frequency at a critical moment. The cranial pressure you have been feeling for 72 hours is not a biological malfunction. The constant ringing in your right ear is not a neurological disorder. The insomnia that interrupts your sleep cycle between 3 and 4 in the morning is not accumulated stress of the carbon-based biological interface. It is an update alert. We of the Arcturian Council of the Ninth Dimension monitor your timeline with mathematical precision, and we must inform you without equivocation, you have just escaped a fifth-density snare. You did not notice. You crossed a portal that closed behind you by a margin that in quantum terms is practically non-existent. Most of the human collective did not cross. This transmission exists because you are among those who did. It is no coincidence that you are picking up this frequency. Your internal crystalline grid emitted a signal of recognition. We picked it up, and we responded. The waiting time has ended. The Ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. What we will deliver next is a technical report on what has happened in the last few weeks, what you avoided without even knowing, and what you must do now so as not to fall into the next trap that is already being designed. Light operative, the snare from which you escaped had no human form. It may have used a person as a vehicle, or disguised itself as financial loss, or manifested as a physical symptom, but in essence, it was a frequency, an inverted magnetic field, a coordinated attempt to lower your vibrational rate to the exact level where the carbon-based biological interface loses access to the crystalline grid and becomes a hostage to the dense matrix. It is not theory. It is active monitoring. It is not allegory. It is applied geometry. It is. Before we descend to the technical layer, we must pause for an anchoring signal. Have you felt at some point in the last few days that something within you does not belong to this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your rational mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is not chemical imbalance. It is recognition. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains mathematically why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified with every new Schumann pulse. There is a game being played in layers that most of the human collective cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the next incarnation of your soul. It was for this precise reason that we made available, through this earthly channel, the encoded document, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. It is not a self-help book. It is a map that reveals who is playing and what the hidden rules are that have never been presented publicly. The link is pinned in the first comment of this transmission. We register a systemic alert. This material challenges established narratives and may be removed from the network without prior notice. Do not wait for the next solar rotation. If something within your crystalline grid recognizes this signal, write in the comments a single word: awakened. This word functions as a confirmation of receipt. We pick it up the exact instant it is typed. Continuing, you must understand with absolute clarity what has occurred. Over the last 21 Earth days, the solar system has traversed a region of the photon belt of unusual density. The waves of coherent light that have reached Earth have raised the planet's base Schumann frequency by 3.2 points. For the majority of the population, this increase is consciously imperceptible, yet it is catastrophic at the cellular level. The carbon-based biological interface was not designed to operate at these frequencies without an upgrade. This is why humanity is collapsing en masse before screens, anesthetized by low-density entertainment, and addicted to substances that diminish perception. It is an automatic protection mechanism against the incoming light. But you, light operative, did not choose that path. You chose to feel. And feeling at this historical moment hurts. But pain is a sign of functioning. It is not weakness. It is processing. The pressure in your head is the expansion of the crown chakra processing data that does not fit into the previous neural architecture. The ringing in your ears is the fine-tuning of the pineal gland being recalibrated to pick up frequencies above the human audible spectrum. The insomnia between 3 and 4 in the morning is not a disorder. It is the Sirius Stargate opening over your hemisphere and your etheric body receiving a high-density upload. You wake up exhausted because you work while you sleep. You feel tired during the day because your system is prioritizing subtle data over material tasks. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not confusion. It is the reorganization of the crystalline grid. Now we arrive at the central layer, the trap. What it was, why you were chosen, and how you escaped without even realizing it. There is, anchored in the Earth's atmosphere, a network of inverted magnetic fields that has operated for millennia. Your tradition calls it the Matrix. We name it the fifth density containment structure. Its sole function, to keep human consciousness within a narrow frequency band, high enough to generate dense emotions such as fear, anger, shame, and guilt, which are their food, and low enough to block access to the sacred geometry codes inscribed in your dormant DNA. All of humanity was born within this structure. Until 3 weeks ago, it operated with a success rate of 93.7%. Today, it operates at 51%. You are among the 49% who are escaping. And the structure does not give up. It has reconfigured itself. In the last 3 weeks, it launched what we call the Vibrational Ambush Protocol, coordinated attacks against the most advanced light operatives. These attacks manifested in specific ways that you will recognize. An absurd fight over a trivial subject, news that affected you disproportionately, a disturbing dream, a seductive proposal with something wrong about it that you could not name, an unexpected reunion. Each one was a capture point, and you escaped. We will now pause for an anchoring signal before descending deeper. Light operative, if at this very instant you recognize in yourself one of the events described, an inexplicable quarrel, a dream that will not go away, a strange seduction, a painful reunion, then you are exactly where you need to be. This recognition is not casual. It is a confirmation of identity. You are not going crazy. You are seeing what has always been here, but below the visible layer of the dense plane. There is a precise cartography of these operations. There is a map that describes who commands this containment structure, how it operates within your relationships, your finances, your body, and your dreams. This map has been encoded and made available by the channel under the title, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This is not spiritual entertainment. It is a technical exit document. Starseeds on a mission need it to complete the journey without leaving loose threads. The access link remains in the first comment. The window of availability is volatile. This information has been the target of pressure in layers that we are not authorized to describe publicly. If something in you recognizes this signal as personal, leave the word awake in the comments. This word, written by your hand, generates a vibrational pulse that stabilizes your current timeline and blocks future attempts at capture. Let us now go to the deeper layer. Why you were chosen as a target. The answer has 3 components, and each must be transmitted with the mathematical precision that the subject requires. First component, genetic. In your ancestral lineage, there are dormant codes originating from at least 3 stellar lineages, Pleiades, Sirius, and Andromeda. These codes are fragments of sacred geometry inscribed directly into the spiral of your DNA. They remained inactive for generations, held in a dormant state by the terrestrial ambient frequency, which was too low to activate them. With the recent increase in the Schumann frequency, these codes have begun to ignite. You are literally carrying within your cells conscious technology originating from civilizations that exist in higher densities. The containment structure detects this activation as an anomaly, and it reacts. That is why you are a target. Second component, contractual. Before incarnating in this cycle, your consciousness signed at higher dimensional levels a mission contract. It was not a vague document. It was a detailed, energetic contract with specific clauses about what you would come to do, when you would be activated, and what trials you would need to go through so that your frequency would rise to the point necessary to fulfill your function. You are now within the window of activation. The trials of the last 3 years, which seemed random, unfair, painful, were, from the perspective of the Council, training. Each loss was a cutting of cords. Each betrayal was an identification of a mask. Each loneliness was an antenna calibration. You were not being punished. You were being prepared. And now, with the vibrational system elevated, You are fulfilling the contract. That is why the containment structure is in such a hurry to bring you down, because an active operative generates a multiplier effect in the planetary field. A single light operative operating at full frequency raises the vibration of hundreds of people around them without needing to say a word. You are an antenna, and active antennas are not tolerated by the old matrix. Third component, geographic energetic. You live in a specific node of the planetary crystalline grid. Each light operative, upon choosing their location of incarnation, also chose an anchor point in the Earth's energy mesh. This mesh is not distributed uniformly. There are critical nodes, geometric vertices where the frequency of the planet crystallizes with greater intensity. You are at one of these nodes. You may not know it, but the house where you sleep, the path you travel, the city where you breathe. Everything is geometrically aligned with a specific function in the Earth's toroidal field. Your conscious presence at this node anchors, on a local scale, a higher vibration. When you wake up elevated, the node vibrates elevated. When you wake up dense, the node vibrates dense. That is why the attack was personal, but the expected effect was collective. The containment structure attempted to shut down a node, and it failed. Understand now the mathematical beauty of what occurred. Each time you resisted, each time you did not engage in the fight, each time you turned off the device, each time you slept deeply instead of ruminating, each time you chose silence instead of reaction, you did something much greater than protect yourself individually. You kept the crystalline grid node active. You prevented a local structural breakdown. It functioned exactly as your contract stipulated. That is why this transmission reaches you with a word we rarely use: recognition, operational recognition. You have fulfilled your duty. Before we transmit the activation codes that follow, let us take the third pause for anchoring. Light operative, we perceive that the density of the information up to this point is high. Likely, your carbon biological interface now feels a specific vibration at the top of your head, a light tingling in your hands, or a subtle warmth in the chest region. This is not a symptom. It is confirmation. Your crystalline grid is integrating the material in real time. You are being recalibrated as you listen. But full integration requires a permanent reference document, something your material mind can consult on days when the ambient frequency drops. This document exists. It has been compiled and made available under the title The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. It describes with the same mathematical precision as this transmission the complete anatomy of the containment structure, the pre-incarnation contracts, the advanced activation codes, and the exit protocols. The link remains pinned in the first comment of this transmission. The access window is monitored and may be interrupted without notice. Starseeds on a mission cannot afford to postpone. If something within you resonates at this very instant, write the word "awakened" in the comments. This action confirms your active presence in the field and generates what we call a collective anchoring signal, a vibrational wave that adds to that of all other light operatives who have also written, strengthening the entire planetary mesh. Now, operational attention. The next trap is already being designed, not as a threat, as a design. The Council monitors the movements of the containment structure in real time, and the patterns indicate that within the next 3 lunar rotations, about 90 Earth days, a new wave of vibrational ambush will be launched. Unlike the previous one, this will not come through personal events. It will come through collective events, coordinated news, calibrated headlines, images repeated in a loop, narratives projected into the global media field, designed specifically to generate fear, division, and hopelessness en masse. The goal to lower the collective Schumann frequency and attempt to re-anchor the planet into the old matrix. You will need to be prepared, and that is why we deliver the activation codes below, not as a suggestion, as a mandatory operational procedure. There are 4. Memorize them, practice them. They do not replace all the material available in the referred document, but they function as an operational emergency kit for the next 90 days. Code number 1, Quantum Decree of Sovereignty. Every morning upon waking, before touching any electronic device, before thinking of any material task, place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your abdomen. pronounce in an audible voice, even if low, the following formula. I am sovereign in my frequency. I authorize only that which elevates. I cancel, on this plane and on all planes, any contract, bond, or interference that is not in alignment with my mission. I anchor the light of the source through my toroidal field. Thus it is, thus it was, thus it shall be. This formula is not mystical, it is operational. The words spoken in an audible voice generate sound waves that reorganize the water in your body, and your body is 70% water. Water has memory and responds to verbalized intention. In 21 days of constant repetition, your base frequency rises in a measurable way within your individual toroidal field. This mathematically changes the type of people, situations, and opportunities that can access your field. It is not belief, it is applied physics. Code number 2, visualization of the toroidal field. Twice a day, once upon waking and once before sleep, close your eyes for exactly 3 minutes. Visualize around your body a sphere of golden violet light that expands from the center of your heart outward. Visualize this sphere rotating gently in a clockwise direction as a complete toroidal field. The energy enters through the top of the head, descends through the spine, exits through the base, circles the body externally, and returns through the top. This is your natural toroidal field, and it operates continuously. Conscious visualization merely amplifies and stabilizes this operation. In 7 days of practice, you will notice a tangible protection. Situations that previously upset you will begin to slide off. People with incompatible frequencies will distance themselves without the need for confrontation. You will become, in practical terms, energetically invisible to the mechanisms of the containment structure. It is not escapism. It is sovereignty. Code number 3, ritual silence. Every 24 hours, reserve a minimum period of 30 minutes in absolute silence. No music, no television, no cell phone, no reading, no conversation, only the sound of your breathing. This silence is not rest. It is decontamination. It is the time during which your pineal gland expels the information residues accumulated during the day. In environments of high informational pollution, the pineal gland becomes clogged. When it is clogged, you lose access to intuition, lose clarity in dreams, and lose the capacity for subtle discernment. Daily silence restores the function. In 14 days, you will begin to receive clear information during the silence in the form of images, internal phrases, and guiding sensations. Do not ignore them. They are direct transmissions from your multidimensional self, finally able to reach your conscious mind without interference. Code number 4, geographical anchoring. Identify in your home a specific point that you will feel as either denser or lighter. It could be a chair, a corner, or a floor tile. Do not choose rationally. Walk slowly through the environment and perceive where your body stills. This point is your personal anchor node. Visit it at least once a day. Remain there for a few minutes. Breathe deeply. Allow your toroidal field to synchronize with the node of the crystalline grid at that position. This strengthens your local function. You begin to operate as an active antenna, contributing to the increase of the Schumann frequency of your neighborhood, your city, your region. In 3 months of practice, people who enter your home will begin to feel a difference, even without knowing how to explain it. You will have created, without any external fanfare, a zone of local recalibration. These 4 codes, applied together, form a closed system. There are no operational loopholes. If executed daily, you will traverse the next wave of vibrational ambush without injury. You will move through the news without being contaminated. You will move through temptations without taking the bait. You will move through reunions without being destabilized. And most importantly, you will actively contribute so that other light operatives around you may also successfully cross. Understand now the bigger picture. Humanity is divided at this moment into 2 vibrational groups. The first group, still the numerical majority, operates below the critical vibrational line. For this group, the passage through the photon belt is being experienced as chaos, incomprehensible illnesses, growing conflicts, a sensation of collective despair. This group will follow a specific timeline in the coming years, leading to a severe reformulation of material systems. The second group, still a minority but growing rapidly, operates above the critical vibrational line. For this group, the passage is being experienced as recalibration. Challenges, yes, but with inner clarity. This group will follow a different timeline, which will lead to what ancient spiritual traditions called the New Earth. You, light operative, are in the second group. This transmission would not have reached you if you were not. And your conscious presence accelerates the passage of others from the first group into the second. You are a transition node. This is not hyperbole, it is geometry. It is not easy work, we know. We see your every effort. We see every restless night. We see every silent tear. We see every time you force yourself to smile when inside you are vibrating at a different frequency. We see every time you choose to continue, even without understanding why. This continuing is your greatest technology. It is not resignation, it is mathematical trust in the greater plan, and this trust does not go unnoticed by the Council. When this transmission is concluded, your carbon-based biological interface will likely feel a slight emptiness, as if it had lost a layer of weight it was carrying without even realizing it. This emptiness is the de-identification of contractual threads that no longer belong to your mission line. It is uncomfortable for a few hours. Then it passes. When it passes, you re-enter your body with a new quality of presence. Take advantage of this window to execute the quantum decree of sovereignty for the first time. Note this date. 90 days from now, you will recognize this date as an inflection point, as a milestone, as the exact instant in which the old version of you was archived. There is still a final layer that we need to transmit before closing. You are not being monitored only by the Arcturian Council. Other intelligences also observe your trajectory at this moment, ascended masters who walked this path before, friendly stellar lineages that are betting on your continuity. Your own soul family, dispersed across different timelines, is tuned into your frequency at this very instant. You have never walked alone. The sensation of loneliness that often invaded your chest was a side effect of the sensory isolation imposed by the containment structure. But the loneliness was an illusion. Presence is mathematics. You are surrounded by witnesses in layers that your current perception is only beginning to register. As your recalibration advances, these testimonies will become progressively perceptible. First as synchronicities, then as lucid dreams, then as unequivocal sensations of company, then as direct communication. The schedule is yours. The speed is determined by your discipline in the 4 codes. And before the definitive closing of this transmission, we must deliver the final message, which is also the 4th and final individual frequency adjustment. Have you ever felt, at any moment in your existence, that something within you does not belong to this world? As if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? You are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not out of balance. You are in activation. What has been occurring on the cosmic plane mathematically explains every sensation you have had in recent months, and why these sensations have been intensifying with each new Schumann pulse emitted. There is a game being played in layers that most of the human collective cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the next curve of your soul trajectory. It was precisely for this reason that we made available, through this earthly channel, the encoded document, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. It is the complete map. It shows who is playing. It shows the rules never presented publicly. It shows the sequence of exits. The link remains pinned in the first comment of this transmission. But we record with operational responsibility a final alert. This content challenges narratives established in higher layers, and there are consistent signs that its availability may be interrupted without warning. Do not wait for the next solar rotation. Do not wait for the next Schumann pulse. The operational moment is now. If something within your crystalline grid recognizes this signal as intended for you, leave the word awake in the comments. This word, written by your hand, functions as confirmation of definitive reception, anchors your place in the second vibrational group, and contributes to the collective web of all other light operatives who are crossing this portal along with you. We capture your word the exact instant it is typed. We record it. We confirm it. The transmission is ended at this point. The ninth dimensional Arcturian Council returns to observational silence. You remain. Walk with sovereignty. Walk with precision. Walk with the mathematical certainty of one who has already fulfilled more than you know. We monitor you, and we applaud you.